Welcome to the Movies, pal. Your Philly neighborhood master chaos back with you once again. This is vodka, by the way. I need it because I'm a little burnt out, to be honest. The Friday series has worn me down. And none more than this entry right here. Jason Goes to Hell, The Final Friday, written by Dean Lorey and Jay Hughley, and directed by Adam Marcus. Yeah, Jason Goes to Hell. You know, it's funny, when I first saw this movie in theaters back in the day, I didn't hate it. You know, I walked out of the movie thinking, wow, Jason was a worm this whole time? He was just like some kind of weird boglin type creature? And that's one point I want to bring up real quick. Whenever somebody talks about Jason Goes to Hell, which isn't often, but whenever they do, they mention the worm. But do you remember what it actually looked like in the movie? It's not a worm. It's not a worm, because it's got arms. It's a boglin. It's a boglin with a tail. There's no denying it. Jason is a fucking boglin. But let's not get bogged down in those details, because the boglin mythology makes more sense than the story here. Very briefly, because I don't want to waste your time. Part 8 never happened, apparently. Jason is alive and well, just walking around, Camp Crystal Lake, cruising around. A girl comes in, she's taking a naked shower. Jason attacks. She escapes. He chases her. He gets cornered by a surprise attack that I assume the FBI or the CIA set up. You got a whole bunch of guys in black suits. They've got machine guns. They mow Jason down. They send bombs at him. Jason explodes. This is the first 10 minutes of the movie, by the way. Jason's dead. Okay. Interesting beginning. Now, with a title like Jason Goes to Hell, you would think, wouldn't it be cool if, it starts with him getting killed, and then he goes to hell? And think, how awesome of a movie would it have been if it was a Dante's Inferno with Jason as our lead? And kind of like Hellraiser kind of a thing. Hellraiser 2, but instead of Ashley Lawrence, it's Jason. Holy crap, that would have been the ultimate Jason movie. Oh my god, now that I think about it, that'd be fantastic. This is even worse now, thinking about what it could have been. Jeez, that would have been amazing. Jason Goes to Hell, and it's like a Dante's Inferno with Jason? Holy shit. But we don't get that movie. Apparently, Jason is really some kind of demon worm that lives in his heart. And the first scene that's sort of established in is in the morgue, where the coroner sees Jason's heart beating, and he decides to eat it for some reason. And then he's possessed by the spirit of Jason, or the spirit of demons, the spirit of worms, I'm not sure what. Then he goes about killing people. And then we get basically a mishmash of mythologies. It steals a little bit from Child's Play with you have to kill him in the heart. That's how you really kill him. And then a little bit, obviously, from the Michael Myers Halloween mythology, where, he's looking for his sister. He's looking for a family member so he can be reborn or some shit. Complete bullshit. Complete utter fucking bullshit. That's not what it is at all. Jason was a kid who drowned but survived. His mother was pissed. He was pissed that his mother got killed, so he decided to get his revenge, and then he just liked it so much, he just became a killing machine. Then he died. Then he became a zombie. And then he became a little kid again in New York. End of story. This is utter shit. That being said, I'm not a hater on mythology. I, for one, really liked Halloween 6. I thought the whole Thorn cult thing was interesting. Not so much that I bought into it that, from the beginning, this little boy was a member of a cult or whatever. The parents were cult leaders or whatever. I mean, I could kind of buy it, but, it was a stretch. But I felt like, okay, I appreciate what they're doing here. With this one, we're supposed to believe that Pamela Voorhees missed her son so much that she found the Necronomicon, which we do see, the real Necronomicon. The director, even in the special features, goes into saying he was on the set of Army of Darkness, and he borrows the Necronomicon from Sam Raimi to put in this movie to establish the lore that Pamela Voorhees used the Necronomicon to summon a deadite to become her son. 100%, that is the truth. That is the mythology. 100%. The director said it. That is what Jason is, a deadite. He was always a deadite. Even in the early ones when he was still humanish. Deadite. Anyway, I'm belaboring the plot here. Jason, I should say, keeps body switching with other people, going blah, 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 spitting the worm into somebody else's mouth, and then that person carries on the essence of Jason, blah, blah, blah. The whole thing is, he wants to get to this girl named Jessica, who is a descendant of the Voorhees family. It's not clear, as far as I know. It wasn't really clear as to how she's related to him, but for some reason, he needs to put the worm into her so that Jason can be reborn. Okay, that makes... this is so stupid. Let's just get to the stats. How many kills are in this movie? We have 22 kills. I'm not counting Jason twice, by the way. I know kill count counted Jason twice, because in the beginning when he explodes, he doesn't really die yet, right? So I'm not counting him. 22 kills, and Jason goes to hell. Pretty high body count, but just keep in mind, it's just random people, you know, killing people. How many people does Jason kill? Do you know the answer to that? 1. We do get 3 nude scenes in this one. Of course, the opening sequence with the lovely Julie Michaels playing our victim, or would-be victim, I should say. And you know, you get a nice look at her supple derriere and some side boob. And that's all good and, you know, and enjoyable. However, the other bit of nudity I should mention is we get a considerable amount of man ass in this one. So keep that in mind. Our final girl in this one is Jessica. She is, of course, the Voorhees descendant. Again, not clear on the lineage there. She is not a great final girl, to be honest. You know, I feel like her character doesn't make any sense. So the Jessica character comes off kind of bitchy and demanding to me, and once the whole thing happens, I mean, she kind of takes charge. She's a little more actiony than some of the other final girls, but overall, she kind of left a bad taste in my mouth. For my favorite kill, I'm gonna go for a titty stab that turns into a slash in half. It is a pretty great kill. I know the director's pretty proud of it. He also claims that his movie has one of the highest body counts. It does have one of the highest body counts, not the highest. Favorite line goes to unknown corner guy who turns to Jason's corpse and says something along the lines of, "I'd like to take a mango-sized crap on your mask." This movie's got a lot of interesting dialogue. That one jumped out at me the most. The other one that's sort of my honorable mention is when Creighton Duke is being interviewed by the reporter guy, and he says, the reporter guy says, "What does the name Jason Voorhees mean to you?" And Creighton Duke says, "Oh, that name reminds me of a little girl in a pink dress sticking a hot dog through a donut." What the fuck? A couple things you should know about this movie. Not necessarily lore or mythology, because I feel this movie's so outside of canon. No matter what the director says, that I'm not going to call it lore. I'm just going to call it ephemera, for lack of a better word. Number 1, there's a guy named Creighton Duke, who's a bounty hunter who has been chasing Jason for years for some unknown reason. There's a backstory we never get into in the movie. I think it was all cut out. But this guy comes out of nowhere. So kind of the... Again, I feel like they're trying to copy the Halloween formula here, as we got that the Man in Black at the end of Halloween 5 that sort of pays off in 6. That's kind of the same idea here. It's a Man in Black who happens to be black, who has been chasing Jason for years and knows all about him, and knows, mind you, knows that Jason is a demon worm and not a person. He knows this, and he knows that Jason's going to change bodies. He knows this. And nobody else has known this ever, but somehow this guy who we've just met knows this. Stupid. Number 2, apparently Jason has a mansion, a pretty nice mansion. Yes, it's abandoned and run down, but there's electric light. So somehow he pays the bills, and he doesn't live in a shack in the woods. So there you go. The movie just dropped that on us. Jason actually has a pretty nice house to go back to and chill, in between summer camp killings. Number 3, the film is set in Cunningham County. That was never established before. They just kind of threw that in as a wink, ha-ha, nudge to the audience. Of course, the further nudge is Sean Cunningham does come back. He returns to the franchise here as producer. And it's his damn fault that we have the movie that we have. The director, Adam Marcus, reveals that Sean Cunningham says, if you can get rid of the damn hockey mask, I'll let you write and direct the movie. So it's Sean Cunningham's fault that we got this Jason movie, the way it is. Apparently the FBI knows that Jason is a thing, a real threat. They know, and here's the weird part. So they've set up this trap to lure Jason out into the open to shoot him, right? Jason lives in the woods. Jason is all over the goddamn woods. We know this. We've had 8 movies. Well, technically 7, because 8 doesn't really take place in the woods. 7 movies to us. Well, 6 movies. Well, God. 5 movies. Jason's really only had 5 movies. If you think about it. Part 2, Part 3, Part 4, Part 6, and Part 7. So 5 movies set in the woods. God damn. That's weird when you think about it. Anyway, he lives in the woods. How did the FBI guys sneak around, set up giant light towers? That makes noise. That takes power generators. Bring in like 50 fucking guys quietly so that Jason doesn't know that they're there. But one girl drives into a cabin and takes her boobs out. Ding! Jason's there like a fucking magnet. What? Jason's really in the movie for about 5 minutes. Erin Gray plays Jason's half-sister in the movie, and that's where she's Jessica's mom. Jessica, okay, so Erin Gray, her name is Diana in the movie. Jason's half-sister. So, okay. So, I guess Jason's dad? They share the dad? I feel like that's too much to drop on an audience story-wise. Oh, he has a half-sister. Oh, how did that happen? Oh, don't worry about it. Oh, look, worm. When you get possessed by Jason, or I should say he vomits the moglin into your mouth, you have Jason's reflection. That doesn't even make sense magically. Like, how the... Okay, if the worm was a demon, wouldn't you have the demon's reflection? You wouldn't have the reflection of the ground beef Jason presented in this movie. That doesn't make any sense. You wouldn't have the reflection of like the beaten up version of Jason, because it's a demon. It's not Jason himself. FYI, we don't even see this damn worm until 40 minutes into the movie. Speaking of the ground beef Jason, at the end of the movie, he uses the body of his half-sister. There's a whole thing. He uses the body of his half-sister to impregnate, for lack of a better word. The worm goes into the corpse, and out comes the fully formed Jason. My friend, you've seen the movie, so I'm not surprising you with anything, but how does it make any sense that the worm goes into a relative, and out comes the fully formed Jason from the beginning of the movie? The ground beef Jason with the mask, pushing into his brain meats and everything. A really gross version of Jason. How in the hell does that happen? Why is the worm an exact replica? First of all, how does the worm have the hockey mask? There's no hockey mask in the worm. The worm isn't wearing a hockey mask. There's no hockey mask in that lady's womb. I mean, I suppose there isn't. That doesn't make any sense. It's just stupid on top of stupid on top of stupid, man. And honestly, look, you can say, okay, yeah, whatever, it's a Jason movie, whatever, I'll forgive it. We can't afford to forgive these movies. Because if we forgive one thing, then they're just going to keep giving us shit and shit and shit. Then there's the whole thing about, you have to stab Jason in the heart, and when Jessica grabs this random knife, it turns into this magical, like, Evil Dead knife, and she has to, somehow, and then she has to, like, stab it into his heart, and he gets dragged to hell. It's just fucking utter garbage shit. Just shit. Man, I didn't realize how angry I'd be at this movie, and it's only because I'm looking at the movie brutally and critically, and trying to make sense of it as a whole. I'm going to give this movie 1 star only because I can't really do half stars. So Jason Goes to Hell gets 1 star. Awful, awful movie. Way worse than Jason Takes Manhattan. And I didn't love Jason Takes Manhattan, but this is just trash, man. Everything, just trying to rewrite the continuity, and the fact that the rewriting makes no sense. Jason cannot have a half-sister. Jason cannot have a mansion where somehow somebody pays the electric bills. Jason, no. Pamela Voorhees did not use the Necronomicon to summon Jason's ghost demon. Jason is not a boglin. Jason's barely in this movie. Oh, there's just so much. There's just so much. This is a bad movie. Might as well talk about the special features. There's a really long 36-minute interview here with the director, Adam Marcus, where he talks about the genesis of the project and his ideas on it and stuff like that. So you kind of get, you get a good idea of why the movie is the way it is. That doesn't make it better, but it's interesting to hear him talk about it. There's a further interview with the director that runs about 11 minutes, and this one's kind of specifically about his relationship with the Cunningham family. He was friends with Sean Cunningham's son, that's how he got the gig. He knew the family. He'd worked with them for a while, and apparently he had a hand in My Boyfriend's Back, and then Sean Cunningham stole it and sold it to Sony or something, and then he gave him Jason Goes to Hell as a apology gift, something like that. It sounds like a really shitty story, but he kind of glosses over it. But that documentary, the 11 minutes, just a quick little interview about his relationship with the Cunninghams. Finally, the best special feature on here is a 28-minute interview with Kane Hodder himself, and he talks about everything related to Jason. He goes everything from Part 7 to Part 9, and of course, he expresses his displeasure for Part 9. You can tell he didn't like it. The whole him changing bodies. He tries to tiptoe around and be, political, which you kind of have to be when you're in the industry. You want to be, as political as possible and polite, because you may run into these people again. You're like, oh, hey, you say that, mean shit about the movie. But, no, you can tell he hated it. You can tell he hated it. Also, he's barely in it. On here, you have 12 minutes of extended TV footage that kind of just shows a little bit more story and a little character folderol, if you want. I honestly skipped most of it because I could really care less about the characters in this one. Also, there's 2 commentary tracks, and they both feature Adam Marcus, in case you're interested in learning a little bit more about the movie. But, hey, that's on you. Well, pal, time to close the theater down. I hope you enjoyed the look at Jason Goes to Hell. I've got to douse the campfire here before it sets the silver screen on fire. I hope this video has found you well. I'm going to be completely honest. I'm glad this review was over. It was hard to do. Part 9 took a lot out of me, to be honest. I was actually surprised how much I disliked the film upon rewatching it. Maybe in a year I'll rewatch it and I like it a little better, but I seriously doubt that is the fact. So for now, remember, Jason is out there. Lock your doors. Bolt your windows. I have been your Philly Neighborhood Master of Chaos. I love you. And you have been entertained.